Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Rebecca Kramer, and today I have a special guest, Jose Saenz, A.K.A. Canadian Jose. He's the CEO of Jump Contact Center, and also my hubby. Jose, did you want to introduce yourself and maybe tell everyone a little bit about what you do and why it's important? Actually, add that and why it's important. So what do you do and why is it important? Wait a second. So Thomas says hello. The only challenge right now is that he says that he only sees me. I don't know. I have never. Oh, wait a second. Does that change anything? I don't know. I wonder if that changes anything. Thomas, yeah? Oh, no. This has never happened. Well, just wait 1 second because we're already on the stream. You probably could, but it's weird that you can't see. And there's no mic as well, he says, for you on your phone. Yeah, you can. I can remove you and you can rejoin if you want to try that. Technical difficulties. Okay, I'm gonna remove you and then just join right back on your phone and we'll get you on. Okay, so this is what happens when you go live. Sometimes these things happen when you go live and you just have to like roll with it, right? I mean, going live is fun. I appreciate Thomas. Shout out to Thomas for letting us know. It would have been interesting for everyone to listen to a whole entire interview of just me talking. That would have been interesting. Let's see if we can get Canadian Jose back, and I'm gonna rely on Thomas again to let us know if
can you hear me?
See Canadian Jose. Yeah, I can hear you just fine. And I don't know. The only challenge is that there's a bit of a delay on the live. So, okay, so he can see you. So that's perfect. So I'm sure we can.
Okay, there we go.
Hopefully he can hear you. So just in case, let's reintroduce my amazing guest, Jose Saenz, A.K.A. Canadian Jose, CEO of Jump Contact. Jose, can you explain what you do and why it's so important for small businesses?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Rebecca, for the introduction. What I do is I'm the owner and CEO of a company called Jump Contact. And what it is we do is we help businesses of all sizes answer all their missed calls, all their overflow calls. So what that basically means is when you're not able to respond to a customer immediately, we will. So rather than the call going to voicemail or just ringing, on end without it being answered, we'll answer that for you. We'll interact and engage with your customers as an extension of your business, and we'll keep that lead alive, right? We'll pass off on the information, book book it in your calendar, or hopefully maybe even close the sale for you.
Close the sale. Why is it so important
Absolutely.
for people to, why would it be so important? Like, why couldn't I just call someone back if I missed a call?
Well, if you think about it, even just yourself as a consumer, we live in an on-demand world, right? It's an Amazon world. You order something, you want it delivered next day, or preferably same day. You don't want to wait. And I'm sure there's a time you've called someone and it rang to voicemail or they didn't pick up, and it frustrates you, right? That's where we're at right now as a society, right? People want stuff immediately. So when they call you, if you don't answer, it's an easy solution for them. They just go ahead and call the next person.
Yeah.
Right? No one's going to wait. By the time you call them back, most likely what will happen is they won't even answer the phone. If you do get a hold of you, they might even forget what it was about, or tell you that they've already moved ahead and gone forward with somebody else, right? So speed to the lead, it's crucial.
Yeah, exactly. Or I was just going to say, or they don't have time. They don't have time to talk when you call them back. They only had time for the time that they reached out. Yeah.
Well, if you think about it, just as a consumer, how many times have you called someone, and if they don't answer, usually you'll go to the next person, right?
Yeah.
And if you're forced to deal with that person, you're going to wait because you have no option. But the customer service has dropped, and your level of I guess of happiness with that company drops, right? Inevitably.
Yeah, exactly. So perception is reality too, right?
Absolutely.
So everyone can hear you now, thank goodness. And Thomas Jenkins says super stylish. I don't know if that comment was for me or you. I'm not sure. Oh no, he's talking. He says I can see him, and then he says, "Thomas, what about me?"
You got the pocket square, everything dressed
there
up for
you go. I forgot to actually mention, because I have these notes written down when I was introducing you, that you're also a world novice BW's boxing champ.
Border Wars.
Yeah.
Border Wars, yes.
Oh, Border Wars, of course. World novice. Yeah. Why would you do something like that?
For fun. Like growing up, I always watched boxing. The reason I loved it so much is because whenever there was no boxing on, we had to do chores. The only time we got to relax and chill out on the weekend is when boxing was on. So I just loved it because of that reason. And I've always just loved it growing up. And there's a big group of friends of us that get together. We all follow a big podcast, the world's biggest boxing podcast in the world, The Boxing Voice. Shout out to Nestor Gibbs and all his hosts. And basically, we just decided after years, hey, why don't we all talk about boxing? We all think we're great. Why don't we get in the ring and actually prove it? And it just morphed into something huge. And right now we're at Border Wars 11. We just had an outdoor show in Green Bay in Wisconsin, of all places.
Wow. Are you going to fight again?
Absolutely. I have to, it's novice. Like the whole point is it's kind of like beer league boxing. It's not really, we have headgear and we use bigger gloves. So the chances of getting injured are very minimal. It's still there, but it's fun to train for something and you have a goal and you get a little stage, right? Like, we all know stages and I love the stage, right? So why not?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, especially, do it while you're still able, right?
Able-ish, yes, absolutely, right? Yeah. This time you got to come, right? You're going to come watch?
Of course, absolutely, absolutely. For sure. I'll be there. And Border Wars, like they're always fun events, and I can't wait.
And the reason it's called Border Wars, I know too, people maybe don't want to, who knows, but they call it Border Wars because people come from all over the world, right? So there's a bunch of us that went from Canada. There's people all over the United States. There's people that have even come in from Europe to compete, right? So that's why it's called Border Wars. It's country against country and just team against team, right?
Yeah, I can't wait. Definitely can't wait. Thomas says be a luchador.
Luchador, yeah, that's like a Mexican wrestler, right? Yeah, absolutely, man. I got years to do that still.
Yeah. Okay, let's just stick to boxing. But it's your choice. It's your choice. Okay, so another question for you. I know that you've been, training your own self, you've been training your team when it comes to, just improving everything, improving customer service, improving sales, being more responsive, and really focusing on bettering your team. Why would you say that's so important to not only your team, but maybe even to other, like most of the audience would be small business owners, entrepreneurs,
Yep.
maybe intrapreneurs. Why would that be so important?
The reason it's so important is because you once you start training, you quickly learn that you don't know a lot, right? That's just the honest truth. You think you may be good, you think you may be great at something, and it's good to have that self-belief, but the truth is, unless you're practicing every single day, you're not going to get better as good as you are. And a simple analogy is just look at at any sports athlete. Look at a basketball player. They're in the gym shooting free throws and 3-point shots and just shooting for hours on end, right? And they're the best players in the world. And the reason they do this is because at a certain moment, the opportunity might present itself where they need to sink that shot, and they might not even make the shot. But the reason they practice is so that the chances of them, being able to execute that is available to them, right? So that's why I train, to be honest.
And so how has that impacted your business? Like, what have you implemented that has affected your business?
Yeah, there's a lot I've learned about, while in training. I've learned things that I didn't know, or I just completely dismissed. Like, service is senior to sales, right? I
Mm-hmm.
always thought that the sale was the most important and the most crucial element of a relationship, but it's not the case. Service is how you treat your customers, how you do your follow-up, how you do everything, and how you treat them is ultimately more important than whether or not you close a financial sale, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that's one thing I've definitely learned, right?
Yeah, for sure. And so when you say service, I think of service, there's service before the sale, and then there's service after the sale. And so, how do you think being responsive to inbound calls or inquiries, like, how do you think that ties together?
Yeah, as a business, it's crucial to ensure that the lines of communication are open, right? So
Mm-hmm.
while people reach out to you at any stage, whether it's the beginning, the middle, or the end, or post, or even if it's after, you've got to be available to people, for many reasons, right? One of the reasons is frustration. Like, people are going to get frustrated. The other reason is just because you owe it to your customer, right? You owe it to your customer to be available, and not just on one channel, but on multiple channels, right? Because people engage the way they feel comfortable, the way they want to. And if they go to a channel and that channel is closed, then that'll lead to frustration, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
so be available, and be available on all platforms.
And I think it's the expectation that now that you are available everywhere, that you should be available everywhere. And so it's challenging though for some businesses. Why do you think they struggle with customer service and response time?
I think it's just because it's just what we're accustomed to, right? Like,
Mm.
back in the day, like, when I first started in sales, there was the motto that the customer was always right, and service was something that companies just basically went over and above to always deliver. Nowadays, I would question, like, if you ever call a company, do you expect to ever talk to a live person right away? Asking you.
No, it's shocking when you reach a live actually.
Yeah, it would shock you, right? Exactly. So, I mean, as business owners, we're almost like okay with not providing that, because if the big companies that we look up to as the greatest entrepreneurs that have built into something amazing, if they're not doing it, then maybe we don't have to, right? So
Mm-hmm.
my challenge to people is be the best, so that when somebody calls you and you have a live person pick up, they're almost shocked. They're
Yeah.
surprised, because that's not the norm, right? It's not the norm anymore, unfortunately, right? The norm is to wait. The norm is to be on hold. The norm is to leave a message. We'll get back to you. The norm is You know, people are just leaving business on the table because it's easy. It's easy business, right? When you're calling somebody, you're at the like the apex of interest. You want to buy. You're not calling the plumber because you want to chat with them. You're not, you know, calling the hardware store because, you know, you want to know, you know, what kind of nails they have and if they're whatever, right? You're calling because you want to know the hours. You're calling because you want to know if they're open. You're calling because you want to do business with them, right? And if you don't pick up the phone, you're leaving easy money on the table.
So what do you think would be, so obviously you have a service where you could help people, you know, with this, but if I was going to do, say, 3 things differently in my business to improve my customer service, what are some things that I could think about when I'm trying to figure out how to improve?
Yeah, one, you got to come up with a plan, right? First of all, you got to come up with a plan you can execute. So what are you looking to achieve? And then from there, implement tools and tracking. Very simple. So if you don't want to hire a third party, that's fine. Come up with the plan. What's the plan? Our plan is that we're gonna provide customer service via text and via phone calls. If people reach out to us that way, they can count on us 100%. Great. What are the tools you're going to use? All right. From there, you're going to have to get some sort of software somewhere where the calls come in, they can be redirected to everybody so that if I missed a.
You're on mute. Are you on mute or we just can't hear you? Technology. Oh no, don't worry. I won't sing. We still can't hear you. Maybe it's your headphones? I don't know. It doesn't show that you're on mute. Hello, everybody. I won't dance. I won't sing. I'll try to entertain you in other ways while he's figuring out his microphone. The technology. I mean, technology is often a problem. Talk whenever you want, Jose. No, can't hear you. Cannot hear you. If you wanted to, like maybe, I don't know, even disconnect the headphones. Okay, so we have some comments. So maybe, Jose, while you're figuring that out, I can actually go through the comments and I can say hello to all these fabulous people on Instagram who are joining us. Hello, y'all. I'm just going to wave at you. Here we are. Okay, so we have, Yahoo. Good to see you guys. Hello, great to see you too. I hate chat bots and auto voice directories. You know what? I actually worked for the biggest telephone company here, and I was part of implementing the new, I don't know what it stands for, but it's called IVR technology, and it was voice automated. And man, that was stressful because there was lots of people complaining. I hate chatbots. Say no to the norm. Yes, we shop because we're ready to buy. Oh yeah, love technology. Yeah, we do shop because we're ready to buy. And if we have money in our hands and we're not actually, being responsive or answering, so I'll tell you, let's see, he might be back. Let's just see.
Does it work now or not? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can hear you just fine. I can hear you just fine.
Oh goodness, terrible. I apologize. See, that is bad customer service on my end. So I apologize, guys, for that.
No,
take full responsibility for it.
All good. So I was just going through the comments. Thomas mentioned people do hate automated voice directories. It's like, I called you with money in my hand and now you're making me do work. I don't want to do work. I don't even know what the last question is.
I remember you said, so what could people do to set it up? So I said, simple, set up the plan, tools, tracking. Very easy.
Okay. So plan. So those are 3 things that I could do to improve my customer service. So
Absolutely. And
so as a small business owner, I mean, you don't have to own a business actually to provide good customer service, because also if you work for someone else, it's the same thing. So you're planning. If I wanted to improve my customer service, I need to figure out a plan, figure out what tools I'm going to use, and then figure out how to track that. So how, like, what do you mean by tools?
so tools meaning like, how is it going to get done? So it's good that you have a plan. Now tools could be like, the team is gonna ensure that they're gonna use the phone, or they're gonna use, like, Facebook or whatever, like whatever medium you're gonna use, right? That's what I mean by tools. And if it's manpower, that's a tool too. Like if you're gonna share and distribute like the responsibility on everyone, then the tool is the team, right? And then tracking is essential, because you've got to make sure that you're living up to the plan, right? Am I answering all the calls or not? Let's see.
Yeah.
Right. And then you can track. And then I tell everybody, always set up a tracking phone number. It costs, $5, $10, $15 a month to have.
Right.
That way you can go to it and you can look at the end of the month and you can see how many calls were answered, how many calls weren't. Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a big opportunity there on the table.
Exactly. Huge. And Lacey says, customer service sells me every time if I can't talk to someone or get the info I need ASAP. I start looking other places to solve my problem. It's
Absolutely.
true.
No, I agree. Sorry, go ahead. My bad.
No,
My bad.
all good. You can talk. Okay, so I'll just add to that and then you can respond.
Deal.
So when I call somewhere and they don't pick up, like I got their number from online because I did a search, or however I found their information. All their competitors are listed right below them. If they don't answer them, unless I called them specifically, I'm just moving on to the next person, right?
100%. And what I ask people to do, like, challenge yourself and ask yourself, like, what do I want? What do I like? What will I accept? What will I not accept from another company? And then compare it to your own. See if you're doing that. Like, do we have those tools in place? Do we answer all our calls within 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour, a day? Whatever you feel comfortable with as a consumer, are you doing it as a business owner?
And I know, so my biggest challenge, and I know that this is the challenge of a lot of small business owners, is, okay, so I feel like, so obviously Jump Contact looks after my calls and it's been amazing, but the majority of my calls that I get are people calling, trying to sell me something. And so often if I was, in a situation where I was busy and then, I was not confident that it wasn't a telemarketer, I will say there were times that I chose not to answer the call, which, I mean, since I have obviously discovered that I probably was missing out on some other calls, some opportunities.
Yeah. It's very dangerous, because at that point you're playing like Nostradamus. What I mean by that is, like, he was the great predictor, right? Like, you can't predict what's on that call. That private call might be a telemarketer, might be the next biggest deal you have. It might be your best client ever. And if you don't pick up the phone, it could go to somewhere else, right? So I understand why sometimes people don't want to pick up the phone, but isn't your time worth it, so that call that comes in, rather than that person calling and tying you up, wouldn't it be better for somebody else to handle that, so that you can get business and you can take care of business and you can do what you need to do, and that call gets handled by your trusted team, and then they can handle that call the way you want. So if you want a sales call, somebody's trying to pitch you something, fine, send her an email, and then you can look at that email, right? And that frees you up, who knows, 2, 3, 4 minutes times however many times a week, a day, a month, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, it's definitely important to be super responsive, and it does impact customer service. When it comes to statistics, Like
Yes.
maybe I don't even believe you.
Can I say one thing, if you don't mind,
Yeah.
before we get into stats? It doesn't just affect customer service. It affects your wallet. Think about it. If 10 people call you, let's just say you're closing at a 50% rate. So that means you're closing 5 out of every 10 people. What if you're missing 10 calls? Then you're missing out on those 5 deals. What are those 5 deals worth to you? 100, 1,000, 5,000, 10,000? It's just math, right? At that point, you just multiply it and you realize that customer service, yes, is crucial, massive. Absolutely. It's the most important thing. What about
Yeah.
the money? What about the money you're leaving on the table?
Not to mention if you're spending money on ads, on paid ads, right?
Exactly. Oh yeah, that's massive. Huge.
Yeah.
Like why give that money to Google? Why pay for that click if when the client is trying to engage with you, you don't even pick up that click? Basically what you're doing is you're handing free money to Google and saying, "Hey Google,
Yeah.
take this extra money." Maximize that. Maximize your ad dollars. Sorry,
Absolutely.
I just wanted to add that in there.
It's okay, but I don't remember what
you were stats.
Oh yes, tell me about statistics, because yeah, I know that I should answer my phone. Yeah, I know I should be more responsive. What kind of statistics? Like, how is this really impacting businesses?
Yeah, absolutely. So when you look at a basic stat, 80% of customers that call you and you don't answer the phone are going to call your competitor. They're going to call somebody else right away. So just think of that stat, right? From there, think about this. You are 900 times, so 9 times more likely to close a new customer if you answer them within the first 30 seconds.
Wow.
Huge, right? 50% of people that go on your website expect there to be a live web chat. And the most important stat is this: 100% of people who try to engage with you are expecting you to answer them. Nobody calls you, nobody emails you, nobody sends you a text expecting you to get back to them whenever you feel like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the stat that matters the most.
It's true. That's definitely true. Any advice okay, so we went over your top 3 things that you need to improve your customer service. Do you have any advice for, like you said, that you guys also have the opportunity to close when people call you? So as a small business owner, I have that same opportunity. So do you have any advice for actually being able to close a deal in that, or take advantage of the opportunity that you get that very first call?
Yeah, depending what kind of business you are, but have your staff or your team trained, right? Have a sequence of what's going to happen within that call. So you have your greeting, right? So you have a standardized greeting that everybody in your team uses. That way it gives, like, it just gives you more altitude as a business. It makes you seem more structured, more important, right? From there, you go to the greeting, then you go to the call flow. So you got to be able to manage that engagement with the customer. What is it they want? What help do they need? What information are they looking for? What do we need, right? Do we need a name? Do we need a number? Do we need an email? Do we need to book them in a schedule? Do we need to charge them for that booking, right? So whatever that is, you got to do that. And then ultimately, people, if they're looking to book something, for instance, they're going to want to look around. They're going to want to call somebody else. But that's where you've got to stick with them and tell them and be like, Rebecca, let me ask you a question. You're going to call another 3-4 companies. How many of them are even going to answer the call? You can rely on us. You can trust on us. The same way we treat any customer that calls into us is the same way we're going to treat the customers of yours that call into us. Professional, precise, and we're going to get the results you need and the information that you want.
So ask for the opportunity that very first time that you have the communication.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I heard it in a training, but when you call Disneyland, they say, it's a great day at Disney. Can I book your magical vacation?
Yeah.
Right? Because they're asking for the close right away. Why not? Why not ask for the close? People are needlessly going to go and call 2-3 more other people. For what purpose? Figure out what that purpose is. Figure out what it is they're looking for, why it is they're going to call other people, and give that resolution to them in the first call.
Solve that problem.
Solve that problem.
Interesting. That absolutely makes sense. So last question, maybe the last question. What are you the most excited about? I guess 2 questions are broken into 2 in the next year. And also, in the very near future. Like, what are you excited about right now, and what are you looking forward to in the future? I need to ask one question at a time.
Immediately, I have a good memory, so that's okay. Immediately, what I really want to do, what I'm most excited about, to be honest, is traveling. Like, I miss it so much. It's such a big part of my life. It's just something that I enjoy so much doing.
I know.
And we're starting soon. We're going to Miami,
Yeah.
and then we're gonna go out. I want to go out and go to as many places as possible. And
Yeah.
so I'm looking forward to that, like, very much, and for many reasons. One is I miss, like, networking with people, and not networking always business. What I mean is meeting people, seeing friends, catching up with people, right? So I love that. The second thing that I want to do is I'm just really excited to grow my business. It's a fairly new business. I started it right at the beginning of COVID, actually, believe it or not. And I'm just looking forward to yeah, I'm just looking forward to growing it. I'm looking forward to providing, like, better opportunities for my employees, right? I want to grow my company so that I can grow my employees, right? I want to promote them, pay them more. I want to do so many things, and I just want to be, like, very successful with it. I want to 10x my business. That's what I want to do.
Very exciting. And I agree. I absolutely want to. I think that there's a few things that I miss. I mean, definitely travel. Travel is something that's hard to give up. So it hasn't been fun not being able to travel, for sure. For sure. Was there anything else or anywhere that if someone wanted to get a hold of you, of course, we're going to put it in the chat. But if they wanted to reach out to you or ask you questions or find out more information, maybe they have a question related to something that we went over today, how would they get a hold of you?
Yeah, absolutely. Just find my business, go online. It's jumpcontact.com. You can chat with us live. You can call us 24/7. Be happy to help you guys. I'm working right now with a lot of, like, 10x companies. So I know not every company is 10x, but those that are, I just love working with them, right? I mean, they just have a different vision on business, and we just have an aligned philosophy, right? So
what the heck is 10x?
10x are all my friends at the Cardone universe. Like, anybody that's following Grant Cardone. I mean, it's something that I started doing since last year, since the pandemic. It's something that's really helped my business grow. It's helped me as well, right? And I actually work with a number of 10x companies, like a number of companies that are subscribed to the Grant Cardone philosophy, right? And I love it. I love working with them. They have just a different vision, different mindset. Not to say that I won't work with every business, but I especially love to work with the 10x companies.
So that's actually one of the questions that Grant Cardone asked to each of his guests at GrowthCon. What does 10x mean to you? So if I were to ask you that same question, how would you answer that? What does 10x mean to you?
I could answer it like simply I know it may sound a little cheesy or a little corny, but it's family, like so many friends, so many people that I've never met in real life, but they're my friends, they're great friends. And that's what it is to me. It's just family. It's just belonging, right? And that's quite simply what it is.
It's true. It's true. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Jose Saenz.
Thank you.
A.K.A. Canadian Jose, A.K.A. my hubby. And thank you for joining me on my live recording of She Hustles with Rebecca Kramer. So check it out. It will be on the podcast next week. And I will be here again next Thursday at the same time, 2 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Mountain Time, for my next guest. And don't forget one last thing. If you're not already, please follow me on YouTube. On YouTube, you can look me up, Rebecca Kramer, or I will also put links in the chat here. And I'll also put links to Jose's social channels as well. So thanks so much.
And happy Father's Day, right?
Yes, I'm sorry. That was the whole reason we were unhappy.
To all the great dads.
Yes. Happy Father's Day to all the great dads. I'm sorry I'm a jerk. Happy Father's Day to you. Happy Father's Day to you. Okay, so thanks so much, guys. We'll see you next